Hello and welcome to the Berkowitz and Hanna podcast. My name is Monty Rossetti. On our second episode, we have an accomplished guest, Christina Hanna, partner of Berkowitz and Hanna, an award-winning medical malpractice and personal injury firm. Christina tells us about her experience and the firm's mission statement on behalf of its personal injury clients. All right, I'm here with Christina Hanna, partner at Berkowitz and Hanna LLC. And Christina, first, most importantly, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. All right, so let's get started here with the interview. And my first question is if you can tell us a little bit about your background and how it led you into personal injury and medical malpractice law.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that question. It's not a question that I get to answer or discuss a lot. We're focused on advocating for clients and using our compassion and our legal skills to advocate for people who have been wronged. And we're always, fighting for justice and fighting for the best possible result for the client. So how I got to where I am now is actually a very short story, if you will. But I grew up here in Connecticut, educated in Connecticut, and grew up in a medical environment and always loved reading, always liked to find solutions and try to understand where people are coming from and what are the issues here and is there a creative solution. So through the years, through various job experiences and internships and just, reading and absorbing the news and the world events and local events, I just became very interested in giving people a voice and helping people through difficult times and knowing that I can be a good listener and we can apply the law to the set of facts. And the goal is to always, seek the best possible outcome for the client and using the framework of the law and using those creative ideas and skills of thinking, communication, analytical, skills, writing, research, all of that continues to develop through our careers. And it's something where, people are at the heart of our business and my firm. And we are able to represent really, truly wonderful people who have suffered greatly or suffered a loss. And I think that we bring that compassion to the table and that effective lawyering that speaks for itself. Our results have spoken for themselves throughout all the decades of practice for all of the partners here at the firm. We are able to engage in some pro bono work as well for members of our community. And I think that is a fundamental piece of our practice, just giving back to the community and understanding that people are going through difficult times and the law here will provide, remedy. And our firm is always willing to advocate for the cause and the client and putting their interests at heart.
Now, what makes this area of law, personal injury and medical malpractice law, something that you are continually passionate about and inspired by?
So there are a lot of areas of the law and my work with clients that inspire me on a daily basis. I've been able to use my background and training and my interest in medicine while I was in college and beyond to kind of marry that with the legal work that we do. And giving my clients a voice has always been paramount for me and also the people with whom I work at Berkowitz and Hanna. So that philosophy, I think, has helped guide me in the work that I do on a daily basis. For me, it's always important to understand the client that I'm representing, understand what the legal issues are, and being able to address each of those issues and, again, come up with that plan for them so they know that we are advocating for them and they do have a voice. They will be heard. Through the years of practice, it's more important every day, to communicate with our clients and understand that there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. There will always be some legal remedy or a legal solution within which we can work and try to achieve the best result for the client.
Can you talk to us about a case that maybe sticks out to you that you'd like to tell us about?
So some of my most memorable cases have been the ones where we've had a very hotly contested liability issue, and the injuries or the damages are very significant. So it becomes a situation where we're engaged in discovery, we're taking depositions, we're building up the case, we have experts lined up, and we are looking at all possible avenues of recovery to maximize that for our client. And sometimes it's been a witness, a fact witness, who has often, come forward with some information. And a lot of times that does tip the scales in my client's favor. So those have been pretty memorable because in a lot of those cases, the defense may take a no pay position, or they're, again, hotly contesting liability, and we're preparing for trial. So what I've learned is that there is still hope. All is not lost, even if there is a denial. There's usually some creative lawyering or facts that will come to fruition. And, I always encourage my clients to trust the process and understand that we will go the distance. All is not lost, even if there is a denial. So there, there are cases where I have gone to trial and I have lost the case, and the jury has come back with a defendant verdict. In every case, whether you've won it at the trial level or you've lost it at the trial level, there's always a lesson learned. But the goal is always to maximize what the client's true intentions are and what is in the best interest of my client. And from the moment I sit down with my client and we are investigating the case, we're working it up, they know that we're here to support them. We're here to fight for them, and that it is a process, but patience, hard work, it all leads to some type of solution at the end. And hopefully, through the years, people have seen and heard about the results from Berkowitz and Hanna. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the people with whom I work in terms of, my coworkers who are as dedicated to the cause as I am. And I know that our clients also feel that support and that trust that we are here for them every step of the way. And they know we're available oftentimes after hours on the weekends. So there's a lot of ways to support the clients and their needs, but also fight for them along the way so they know, okay, Berkowitz and Hanna is here. We're not going away. We're in it for the long haul from beginning to end.
So describe some of your first cases. We're going to go way back to the beginning again here, and tell me about what they taught you about personal injury law. Have any of them been formative when it comes to defining how you operate as a lawyer and advocate for victims?
Sure, absolutely. That's a great question. And I think I'm constantly looking at our cases and the legal issues in the cases, and looking at the beginning of my career at the firm, where I think I was in practice less than a year, and I had my first trial. And it was a very stressful experience, just preparing and trying to anticipate the defense arguments and maybe how the judge might rule on some of the evidentiary issues and which motions eliminate to file, and all of the details that come along with preparing for a trial, engaging in the trial and examination of witnesses. So I learned early on that it's important to always see both sides of any case, no matter what the case is about, but also be prepared to pivot and just always be aware of what is coming and trying to foresee any arguments that the defense may raise, or any issues that may arise with the clients and their treatment, or any expert witness testimony. So there have been just so many wonderful clients that we've served through the years, and they really are the heart of our business. And again, we're exposed to the judicial system in Connecticut, different courthouses and the support staff. We come in contact with them quite often. And I think one of the nicest compliments I've received has been from members of the defense bar when they've actually contacted me to refer cases. And I know this has happened with some of my partners as well. So to me, that's been a really, really nice acknowledgement that we're being recognized for the work we do and how we treat people with respect and civility in the bar, and members of the bar and our clients and even the defense. So I think it all comes back to the philosophy we share here at the firm of communication, diligence, advocacy, and being civil, and also, doing our best job and securing these results that have shown through the years that we're able to achieve for clients.
Now, these cases can get pretty emotional, especially for people who are looking for compensation for their suffering. How do you handle that emotional element when you're working so intimately with families to try to get what they deserve at a very, very difficult time?
Yeah, and that's a question that some of my clients ask me. How are you doing this? And I couldn't imagine handling these cases and all the debating, the negotiation, the motion practice, and just the emotional side of things. So the best way for me to answer that is to say that at the end of the day, we're only human. I'm only human, and sure, I know plenty of clients and their families who have shared, their stories with me and their struggles, and it's a hard part of the job that we're engaged in, but at the end of the day, it has helped us become even stronger advocates when we know those intimate details of the loss, the grief, the pain, the suffering, and just the way that my clients' activities of daily living have been compromised, and the new normal in which they are living now after an accident or an injury that wasn't their fault. So, holding the other side accountable for the harm or the losses for my clients, and also what might happen to my clients in the future or the firm clients in the future, is really important. And that level of, knowing that, again, there's a person and there's a family that I'm representing, and trying to seek that justice, and again giving them that voice. um, at the end of the day, that's the motivation, and that's why we're able to secure these results for clients through all these years, and hopefully, continuing on. My clients are often the best source of referrals, so treating other people the way we wish to be treated, I think, is also another great, philosophy we share at the firm, and just knowing that there are more people to help out there.
And talking about, people who need help, there are more people out there. I know your firm is limited to catastrophic cases. Can you describe what kind of case you take on and what makes a case right for Berkowitz and Hanna?
Sure. So at Berkowitz and Hanna, we do represent clients from all different backgrounds, and clients who have, experienced a traumatic event, from anywhere ranging from a car accident, a fatality, a dog bite attack, a premises construction case, motorcycle or scooter incidents, pedestrian struck by a car. I can go on. Unfortunately, people seek out our counsel and representation when something terrible has happened and they've been wronged and or hurt as a result. So they seek out that counsel, and we provide that. So when we are meeting with the client or a family member for the first time, we're analyzing and assessing, what are the possible issues here? What are the legal possibilities here? And what does the law provide for a recovery in terms of what is the remedy? Where is the law on this issue, or where is the law on various issues that might arise in the case? So we're able to analyze that. We're able to assess whether we do need the expert involvement. We look at the medical picture for every client, if that is in the case, and making sure the client is getting medical treatment and the best care, that is required. And also, I think that each client is unique, so one size does not fit all. But we are, again, able to provide that resource to the client and guide them through the process. And we're very transparent at Berkowitz and Hanna. So what's nice about the way we practice is that my client and those of the firm will know exactly what's taking place in the case from time to time. We are updating our clients. We're coming up with strategies with how to move the case forward. And communication, I think, is really key.
Now, you mentioned the process. What can new clients expect when they first contact your firm? And walk us through the process from first call to case resolution.
Sure. So, with the help of my trusted support staff and my coworkers, we're able to field, calls or emails, just contacts from people who are seeking out, legal counsel or advice or representation. So, from the beginning to end, they are speaking with someone. We are engaged actively with a phone call, an in person meeting, or Zoom, and we're pretty flexible about that. But we also work promptly. We know that people need guidance and they have questions, and we provide the information. We offer courtesy consultation. And again, we're very transparent. We try to identify these issues and discuss the law and sort of an overview of what a case may look like during the life of the case. Of course, there's always variables where you can't predict, health issues that might arise from the incident, or insurance coverage issues, or a case may not resolve. And then, we are discussing with the client, well, here are the other possible options. And the client, again, is aware of what's going on a real-time basis. And we're very proactive at our firm. We're very hands-on. So if someone has come to me or one of my partners, they know that we are personally working on the case. And behind that is the support of our support staff, our paralegals and legal assistants, who really do work tirelessly to, promote that philosophy of client advocacy and tenacity and just fighting for our clients, because our role is limited for clients. We are working on a case from beginning to end because the case will eventually come to its natural end through whatever means the law has provided or the parties have agreed to. So it's a situation where, again, the role is limited. So we're trying to do the best we can to give them a voice and also seek out that fair compensation. So there is less of a concern about the future. And they know that, okay, I will be compensated for what might happen to me in the future, or the pain and suffering, or the emotional distress, or the treatment that may be required in the future. So again, our role is limited. And there are several clients that I do keep in touch with who do contact us and some of my partners long after a case has resolved, which is always very refreshing. It is a small world, and again, clients are the best source of referrals for us. And if we're doing right by someone, or obviously multiple clients, again, another great compliment to us is, "You're my lawyer for life," or "I will recommend you and your firm to anyone who needs you." And I always say, God, I hope nothing bad happens to anybody. But obviously, we're here. The law is here. There, you have rights, and we are here. So,
And so, Christina, what about clients who are looking for bilingual advocates? Does your team have bilingual members?
yes, so I'm happy to say that we're fortunate to have several bilingual members of the firm who do speak multiple languages and can communicate with the clients that do contact our firm, whether it's through electronic communication, phone call. We're always available to accommodate and make the potential client and their family members feel comfortable knowing that they can communicate with someone who does speak their language or does share some of the cultural background and history that they bring to the table. I think communication is always important, and fostering that comfort level with potential clients who hopefully become clients of the firm, so they feel that someone understands, someone is listening to them and hearing what they're saying. And it just fosters a sense of that compassion and just that hands-on service that we offer, and that we do speak their language, and we understand where they're from and some of the challenges that they may face. And it really just ensures that the client is feeling respected and understood, so we can then communicate better with the other side.
Now, for my last question, and I'd like to know a little bit more about the larger team at Berkowitz and Hanna. And you've done a great job kind of explaining the team. But what makes every team member at the firm so unique? And can you describe some of the work that your other team members do?
Sure. So again, we're really fortunate to have coworkers and paralegals who do care about clients. They do care about the cases and the way in which the cases are progressive. And what we do at the office too is we're able to conduct, office meetings and just discussions or even just brainstorming and really kind of fostering the discussion on legal issues and any new cases that have come out and how could that apply to our case? How could it benefit the client? Or if it's an issue that is adverse to plaintiffs, for example, how do we work with those court rulings or statutes or developments? So I think that there's a lot of discussion in the office that will take place regarding, certain issues that have arisen in cases or, depositions of witnesses, and just a lot of good work is being done on a daily basis. And I know that my coworkers are helping our clients and are helping to achieve a fair outcome for each client, or clients who have lost a loved one through malpractice or a catastrophic car accident case. There's the compassion that we all share, which really does bind us, and it shows because, again, when we're meeting with potential clients that contact us and hopefully they've retained us, they know that we care and we're able to understand their plight and help them through that legal process. So I'm proud of my team and I'm proud of my coworkers, and without them, I know that we wouldn't be able to, handle as many cases as we do and continue to handle, cases in the court system and even in the pre-suit arena as well. Not saying that our profession is not one without its normal stresses and challenges or disagreements with opposing counsel or opposing adjusters. But at the end of the day, there's usually a satisfied client who feels, I've been heard, I've been validated. This is as good a result as I wanted, or this is a jury verdict that has spoken. The jury has spoken, and we've addressed all the issues in the case. And again, with that support from the paralegals, the legal assistants, we know the case is being worked up, and we know that every client is getting attention.
Christina Hanna, partner at Berkowitz and Hanna, LLC. I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Monty.